Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing great in the run-up to Christmas. Looking forward to, excited about the holidays, if you celebrate or even if you're just thankful for a holiday from work. I'm hoping that you're having a peaceful and healthy time. I'm not having a healthy time. I've got yet another cold. I think my immune system must be shot because I had a real stinker of a cold just about 5 weeks ago, which took me a couple of weeks to work off, and here it is back again within the month. I'm feeling a lot better today. I felt pretty awful yesterday. So hopefully the worst is already over, and a few days rest with the family will see me right again. I thought I would try and do a few videos catching up with all the things I haven't talked about because it's been so busy. And today, really doing a foundation roundup. It hasn't been a mega year for foundations for me. I do like a good foundation. But one that I was really intrigued by and intrigued enough to send away for it is this one. And I actually had to send away to the States. There we are, focusing a little bit on the colour that I got, which was Haus Labs, never heard of them, by Lady Gaga. Obviously, I'd heard about her. Excuse me. Didn't really think of her as a great makeup guru, but of course these franchising deals are where people really make their money. Actresses really make their money these days, not from acting, although some of them do quite well out of that. Um, and this had really good reviews on YouTube. I don't think I saw a single negative review. Most of them were absolute raves. And the results looked pretty good. So I was actually moved to order this to come from the States. I don't think it's available here in the UK even yet, although it was fairly easy to get and I didn't have to pay any tax. It sounds very techy, as might fit in with the kind of labs thing, clinically tested, non-cosmetic, dermatologist tested, ethamologist tested, fragrance free. People said it gave the most glowy, dewy, gorgeous look. The problem always with ordering foundation, which you can't try and you can't get a sample of, is getting the right colour. There was a huge colour range. It was quite difficult. There were a lot that looked to be within my range, but they had one of those questionnaires, which I have used successfully in the past, where you kind of key in the shades you use in other well-known foundations, and it suggests what you need. And the one it suggested for me was 015 Fair Warm, which I was slightly surprised about because I would have said I was neutral to cool toned. I am fair. It's not really the right shade. I can wear it, but it's very, very pale. So it's okay at the moment because I'm super pale and looking ill. If I want to look a bit iller, I can put this on. No, I'm joking. I look better with foundation on, even this one. So you've got to bear in mind my comments, which I think you're guessing are not going to be positive, may be in part due to having the wrong shade, because obviously the wrong shade, particularly if it's too light, can cause it to sit rather heavily on the skin and definitely can catch in pores and show up pores, which this one does. So it's a liquid foundation. Let's have a little squirty. Pretty well pigmented, as I think you can see. I put too much on there, and I think you can see it's much too light. And it has almost a whiter cast when you apply it. Most foundations on me, when they slightly oxidize, go darker rather than lighter. This one, unfortunately, seems to glow lighter. It does have a kind of moist feeling to it, but it very quickly, can you see, kind of dries to a kind of powdery finish. Now, I will say it lasts pretty well and it fades evenly on the skin, so that's good. But I really don't like this kind of slightly powdery, I guess drying's the wrong description. I mean, it is a strange to me consistency because it feels relatively emollient as it goes on, but as I say, it dries off to this powdery texture, which I think you can probably see even on my hand, although it is giving some good coverage to the freckles and sunspots there. Forgive my fingernails, they're a real mess at the moment. Yeah, not great, I have to say. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to use this up, to be honest. I can blend it with other things, helps out. I need to really prep my skin underneath to help out. It's so pigmented that you need the tiniest amount in any event, so it's going to last forever and ever. It clings to my pores, less so if I've got a decent primer on, but still it's annoying and it shows up. That may be partly to do with the wrong shade with a very pigmented foundation. But I honestly don't understand what the fuss is about this foundation. I'm guessing it might work much better on those with an oilier skin. I don't know. Would that consistency that feels moisturizing when it goes on but dries to a very kind of almost hard consistency, would that work better on an oily skin? I don't know. I mean, I definitely think if you've got blemishes on your skin, and that's more likely with an oily skin, it's going to show them up. So, was this a great marketing campaign by Haus Labs Lady Gaga? I think so. And I'm guessing a lot of these positive reviews. And of course, I didn't know very many of them, it's fair to say, because they were American. Although I did know some, who shall remain nameless, were giving it such positive reviews. Afraid it's a negative from me. And I was thinking it hasn't been really a vintage year for foundations generally. Number one, numero un by Chanel came out in the spring. Much better foundation than the Lady Gaga. I don't have any Chanel foundation, which I don't think is very wearable and makes your skin look better, a lot better than without or with other foundations. I don't reach for this as much as some of my others. I think it's very similar to Les Beige, but I mildly prefer Les Beige. Feels a little more emollient, looks a little more glowy on the skin, but it's very, very marginal. I think the whole numero un range is probably geared towards younger skins than mine, but it's a very wearable foundation. I probably won't buy it again, whereas I probably would buy Les Beige again. They're both fine. And the other one that was a bit of a disappointment, you can see I've hardly used it, was the new Les Beige water-rich complexion touch, or whatever it's called. The new version of the water tint. I do like the water tint. I started out with a poor relationship with them because of the difference in coverage. But it is a great product to have in your arsenal. I mean the other one, the main one, in the summer when you want a nice cooling light foundation. The downside with it, I think, is that you have to be very careful what you've got under and over it because of the high water content. And that causes problems with SPFs. But it's an amazing foundation. This one is more like a concealer, to be honest. It's definitely more tinted. There's more coverage in it, but it kind of has lost out a little bit on the texture. Not a huge amount. I'm not sure I'd buy that again. You do get a very dinky application brush, which again, I think, although they didn't kind of market it as a concealer, they marketed it as part of your foundation arsenal. I must look how it's listed at the moment, actually, but that's my recollection from when I bought it. But I think, it is the concealer version. It's quite nice. I'm still liking my Sublimage the best of the Chanel foundations, and I'm still tempted by the hideously expensive Sublimage concealer, under eye concealer. It's just, the fact that it's in the pot is putting me off, and the price. So there we go. A bit of a thumbs down for Lady Gaga, at least so far as makeup is concerned. And the kind of roundup of the foundations. I'm sure some of you will have had foundations that you've tried this year that you can recommend. I know a lot of people recommend various Dior ones, and I've just not really got into Dior. I've had several samples and not loved them enough to go out and buy the full size. I do like Guerlain, so I might have another look at them in the new year. Not that I need any more foundations at the moment. As you can see, I have plenty. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Keep fit and well. I hope to speak to you again just before Christmas, but if you're not listening in, thank you for staying this long. Thumbs up if you've got to the end, please. Helps me out. And have a wonderful holiday season with your family and friends. Keep well and safe. Till next time, bye for now.